Last week, the ideas were safe. They were just pencil on a page, erasable. But today, the safety net is gone. We're leaving the sketchbook and committing to the final 11x17 surface. In this piece, the measure of the soul, the darkness is permanent. The bull's collapse is fixed, and the light of grace must be perfectly placed. Before I touch this paper with any ink, I need to lay down the most crucial foundation of all. Without it, the entire structure, the entire message will fall apart. This is where the weight of the world and the paralysis that comes from carrying it begins. Welcome back to explorationart. In this episode, we tackle the hardest step, the structural transfer. I'll be showing you the grid method, which ensures perfect proportion for a complex work as large as 11x17 inch paper. We are dedicating this entire episode to establishing the deep pencil foundation for the collapse of a Mammon's world. Every line must be accurate to guide the permanent ink coming next. If you're walking the path of faith with me, make sure to subscribe and comment for the commitment to ink in episode 3. When I look at this vast empty 11x17 page, the initial excitement vanishes. All I see is the immense amount of detail work ahead. The thousands of lines required for the bowl, the figures, and the architecture. It's the weight of the world. I find myself totally paralyzed by the sheer volume of problems I have to solve, line by line. And that paralysis is exactly what this episode study is about. The weight of the world, the paralysis of judgment, drawing its lessons from Matthew 7 and the unforgiving wisdom of the plank and the speck. The art we're creating is chaotic by design. It depicts the collapse of the world built on the wrong foundation. But chaos must be framed by perfect order. That's where the grid method comes in. For a complex piece like this, transferring from a small sketch to the large surface, I need a guide for proportion and perspective. The grid breaks the impossible drawing of the shattered Wall Street Bull into small, manageable squares. Each square becomes a single small problem I can solve accurately. This ensures that when I step back, the bull isn't leaning too far. The structure's arches are correct, and the large twisting tree roots are positioned perfectly in the foreground. And this process has been an incredible parallel to my faith journey. In Matthew 7:24, Jesus says, "A wise man who builds his house on the rock, the grid is my rock." It gives the necessary boundaries and structure for the entire piece. When I feel overwhelmed by the complexity of the drawing or the weight of the spiritual message, I don't look at the chaos. I look at the line on the grid. I trust the foundation. We cannot build a stable life on the shifting sands of Mammon, only on the solid rock of Christ's teachings. The foundation must be laid first, perfectly before the building or the art can stand. The spiritual reason we become paralyzed is that we stop focusing on our own foundation and start focusing on the flaws in the architecture around us. We are judging the mess of the world, and in doing so, we ignore the structural world needed on ourselves. The source of this paralysis is found in Jesus' sermon, where he warns against judgmentalism. In Matthew 7:1-5, he says, "Do not judge, or you will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured on you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, 'Let me take the speck out of your eye,' when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite. First take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye." For me, the paralysis of judgment is the artist's equivalent to staring the plank in the eye. I get so focused on making the bowl perfect, making the rubble look realistically corrupt, that I forget that the core purpose getting my own foundation, the grid, the boundaries correct first. The weight of the world is too much to bear if I haven't focused on the plank in my own vision first. Only when my foundation is solid can I approach the chaos of the world with a clear vision. Specifically, the ultimate challenge is that of the architectural perspective. The archway and the brickwork is designed to create an uneasy, slightly unsettling perspective that funnels the viewer's eyes directly down to the feet of the Mammon Bull. The architectural chaos is part of the spiritual weight. It creates a sense of imbalance that pushes the viewer into the scene's core conflict. Getting this unsettling perspective accurate with the grid is what will make the final piece work. I am now drawing the final light pencil foundation that will guide every permanent line of ink. I am focused on getting the largest shapes down first, starting with the bull's massive silhouette. Then I place the crucial human element, the blind lady reaching down at the abandoned child. The small figure is the emotional and spiritual center, so her placement must be perfect. Only after the bull and the figures are finalized can I establish the surrounding world, the large archway, and the challenging perspective of the detailed brick and cobblestone structure. Now that the grid has done its job, the purpose of the grid was to ensure the foundation was true. With the final pencil structure set, I can erase every trace of the grid to get a clearer, unobstructed look at the artwork. It's a powerful moment of trust. We remove the training wheels because the foundation is now stable on its own. This phase is about patience and accuracy. It reminds me that before we rush into action, we must be certain of our path. If we do not commit the time now to establish the truth of the structure, the eventual work will be compromised. I must focus on my plank, my pencil line, before I worry about the specks in the final inking. The pencil work of Measure of the Soul is complete. The foundation is laid on the final paper. Next week is the most dramatic part of the series, committing to the ink. By completing this tedious essential pencil work and removing the grid, we've done the hard part. We've removed the plank from our own eye. We can now see clearly. The paralysis of judgment is broken because we focus on perfecting our own foundation first. Now in episode 3, we are ready to face the world's chaos, the Speck. By applying permanent ink to the decay of Mammon, and after the ink is set, we will finalize the piece by bringing to the light of grace using alcohol markers in the last episode. If the grid represents solid foundation of Christ, what is one small, simple action that you can take this week to reinforce that spiritual foundation in your life? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and follow the rest of this journey. I am JR from explorationart. Keep exploring, keep creating, and we will see you in the next episode.